Thankfully, the App Store comes in handy with any iPhone or iPad. There actually is a magnet built into every single device, and you can test for things like magnetism using that magnet as a reference point. So this app here is free. I'll link to it in the description, but it's kind of a fun way to just test screwdrivers or watches or whatever for magnetism. It's obviously not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So I have it here calibrated to 0 because there's nothing near the reference point for the magnet, which is here on the left. So what I'll do first is I'll take this watch head for the Erebus origin, and I'll pass it by that reference point just to see what happens. So anything in that green field, no matter where that needle is in the green, is considered good. So this is indicating to me very little, if any, magnetism being displayed. And for reference here, I will pull over the bracelet. I've done nothing to the app to change the reading. I'm going to go to the same reference point using this bracelet, and we do have magnetism displayed. Now, is that an issue? Potentially, but more than likely no. The reason being, this watch has been connected to this bracelet for the last, month or two, and I've been wearing it quite a bit. And the watch today ran at -11 seconds per day, and the Seiko NH35A is rated to run between -40 and +20, or it might be, +40, -20, one of the two. Either way, well within spec as far as the movement is concerned. So definitely not magnetized. On that subject of magnetism, 316L stainless steel can be magnetized. I know that stainless steel theoretically is not supposed to be, but from everything I've read online, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a physicist or a metallurgist or however you want to say it, but everything that I've read talks about the treatment of the metal and how it needs to be deformed from its raw material to make something like a bracelet to form these links can cause some magnetism in the steel. The magnetism displayed to me is not anything of concern. The magnet that I have here on my desk does attract the bracelet, specifically the clasp. I think that's really where the problem is the clasp, which is actually not that, unrealistic considering it's the largest point of metal, the largest mass of metal on the watch. But I do have a demagnetizer, so I will run it through that, and we'll see how that affects the reading here on the iPad. All right, so I've got my demagnetizer here on the bench, and I'm going to preface this whole thing by saying don't demagnetize a watch unless you absolutely know that it's magnetized. And with that, leave anything you don't want magnetized far, far away from this demagnetizer if you're going to run it. You don't want to accidentally magnetize something unnecessarily, because it is possible to do that. For example, I'm going to be taking off my Grand Seiko because it is a spring drive with a quartz magnet inside. So I'm going to take it off and put it far, far, far on the other side of the room because I want nothing to do with this magnet and the whole process in terms of how it might affect this watch. Okay, so the instructions say to not exceed 1 minute of use and to pass the object slowly through this circular hole in the demagnetizer from one end to the other. And if the degaussing effect is poor, we can repeat the operation in the same direction as we did before. So for this instance, I'm going to turn the switch on, and we're going to pass the watch bracelet through from this side to the other. And if it still has any magnetism, I'm going to do it again, that same direction. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, that was one pass, and we're going to see how that affected the bracelet. All right, so we've got the iPad here. I'm going to recalibrate it one more time just to get it back to 0. Remembering that we did just one single pass through the demagnetizer with this bracelet, and also remembering that previously it exhibited magnetism in the yellow range, saying it was magnetized effectively. The watch head did not, it was in the green zone. We'll see what happens now with the clasp and the bracelet. So clearly that process of demagnetization has worked and has had a measurable effect on the bracelet. That worked, and I'm actually shocked how well it worked. So for whatever that's worth, I'll link this demagnetizer on Amazon, so you can purchase one if you feel it's necessary. Again, I'm going to say do not run things through a demagnetizer willy-nilly. Don't just do it because you feel like it. Don't do it if you have no reason to do it. Only do it if you have something that is magnetized currently that you want unmagnetized.